At the same forest that same day, there was a white chow which resembles closely to Shadow the Hedgehog's girlfriend, Rouge the Bat. She was hanging out on one of the trees when she saw Prince Shadow Black running away from Princess Omelette, his stepsister. She saw that the princess was swinging a hammer in an attempt to knock him out cold to cut his heart out. Shadow the Hedgehog continued the story. When the white chow saw the young prince running for his dear life, she realized that she must help him. She took out a bottle of bubbles and dipped the wand into a soap-like liquid and began to blow pink, sparkly bubbles. The bubbles were so sparkly, it was about impossible to see through them. They were blocking the path where Omelette was trying to follow Shadow Black. There were times that the princess loved bubbles that she would pop them just like no tomorrow, but this time she was not particularly happy with them. In fact, she didn't have time to play with until her work was done. She tried swinging her hammer at them to get them out of the way, giving the prince enough time to escape, but as soon as the bubbles popped, the sparkles got into her eyes, causing her to not see things. "Ah! My eyes!" Princess Omelette cried. "Daddy!" She blindly went all the way home, crying in pain. She didn't care about her stepbrother now, since that was not her main priority anymore. As he continued to run, Shadow Black turned to his head to see that he had gone far away enough from his hammer-happy sister. He didn't have enough time to look forward because when he knew he tripped on a tree root, he freely fell into the wooden hill and then fell hard on the ground. Fortunately, he wasn't in too much pain, but he was exhausted from running. He ran so much that he needed to catch his breath. He felt that he had never ran so much like this in his entire life. That when he saw the white chow and that the princess fell 2 stories, she was too nervous that she flew down to check on him. She got close enough for him to hear his breathing from the running distance. Thinking that he was sobbing, she gave him a nudge on the shoulder to see if he was all right. His face soon down to the ground as he felt that someone touched him. Thus, he only looked up to see it was the white chow. Then when he got a chance to look at his face, she was relieved that she'd see no tears in his eyes. Who are you?" Shadow Black asked. As he was brave and kind that she was, the chow answered him in the chow language, but she said, "My name is Chow White." "Chow White? I like that name," he said before getting up to the point where he could sit down. He had already read many books about chow, which is very why he was able to understand what this chow was saying. He introduced himself. "I'm Shadow Black, a prince for a place called Ultimate Kingdom. The current ruler is King Eggman, my stepfather." Chow White asked the prince about that girl that tried to hit him in the head with a hammer. "That was my stepsister, Princess Omelette," he answered. "She wanted to knock me out cold so she could cut out my heart." The chow looked disgusted. "Yeah, I know." Shadow Black agreed. "It's rather disgusting just thinking about it." Chow White just told him that she was the one who blew bubbles at Princess Omelette to save his life. "Those bubbles came from you?" he asked. She nodded her head yes. The prince shared a smile to Chow. "Thank you for saving my life." He petted the buddy creature on the head. "If I were king, I would make you a royal pet of mine." With that said, the Chow blushed at her bat eyes. Shadow Black turned his head to where he fell and realized that he would never come back to the Ultimate Kingdom, out of fear of dying from his stepfather's hands. "I don't think I'm going to come back to that kingdom again." He understood that he became an exiled prince. At the same time, he began to wonder where he would go. "It looks like I'm going to have to need a place to sleep for in the night." The white chow wanted to go with Shadow Black as an escort. She said, "I want to go along with you. You want to join me in finding a perfect hiding place?" he asked the chow, and she nodded her head yes, all giving him the adorable chow face. Because of this, he couldn't possibly say no to a nice face like that was so cute. "All right," Shadow Black agreed. "You can come along." Chow White cheered and hugged her new friend, and she hugged him, and he also hugged her in return. She said that she knew about the place to rest for the night. "Well, in that case, lead the way," he said. When they got up from the ground, thunder began to roll, and they looked up at the sky, and it was beginning to storm given that moment. "We better hurry before the rain comes down," Shadow mentioned. Chow White complied. She and along with the exiled prince began to run through the woods in hopes to outrun the storm. Luckily, the rain had not fallen yet when they spotted a small cottage. It was one of It was at the end of the forest, and they hurled over the cottage before the storm was about to begin. Just then, they felt a few raindrops, but they managed to make it way to the front door. Chow White lifted a latch as she was keeping the door and let herself and Shadow Black in. Inside the house looked very neat and tidy. In fact, the condition was just right. They just had to make themselves right at home. They spotted a small table that had sandwiches all prepared for 6 people who seemingly lived in this cottage. There must have been a family that would live here, Shadow pointed out. Chow White agreed, and they began to snack on the 2 slices of sandwiches. Shadow Black had a slice of veggie sandwich, while Chow White had a slice of peanut butter and jelly sandwich. As soon as they finished eating, the prince felt tired, and it was already exhausting from running away from Princess Omelette. He needed to rest. He then let out a yawn. If I could go for a nap right now. She understood what he meant, so she went upstairs, letting out another yawn. He wearily followed the Chow up the stairs, and where he found 6 beds. By now, the amount of beds were in the room. I know that there was a big family in here, he said. In the meantime, Chow White looked and checked on the bed. Some were either not comfortable enough or just too comfortable. Then he made them way to the green bed, and she realized that it was just perfect enough for the prince to lay down. Shadow Black went to that green bed and sat right down. This bed was just comfortable, and my old one was just like back in my kingdom, he mentioned. The Chow White took a pillow and from the orange bed and placed it on the green one. She lay down on it and fell asleep almost instantly. Shadow Black petted his friend on the head before giving her a small kiss on the forehead. "Sweet dreams, Chow White," he whispered as he let out another yawn, all while lying down on the bed, folding his hands. He stared at the ceiling and began to think about all the things beginning to look up for the both of them. He thought to himself, maybe the family will be kind enough to take me and Chow White in. His eyes began slowly to droop. He was just about to drift off to sleep. We could probably do something like that nice to them if they do so. He closed his eyes and he began to snore. His snoring sounded like a lawnmower, but that didn't bother Chow White, as she rather found it very smoothly to drown out all the thunder roaring. Even though she was scared of thunderstorms, she was happy to have a friend to stay by her side, and they all can hope that they find the perfect place to get away from King Eggman to live a happy and peaceful life.